Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Nice to talking to you on some important, very important aspects of our culture, civilization, and knowledge. We had these preliminary talks on the referring to these aspects, not on a scholarly note, but I was only trying to let my children who are spread in the continents to have some understanding about their past, about their ancients, about their successes, and what we have inherited from them, the knowledge, a treasure. So these aspects I was only trying to remind them, trying to make them remember and see that what best they can make use of this knowledge in their day-to-day life and in their pursuits of various things, both spiritual and also worldly. But while these series we have started, we thought of dealing with them just as an introduction to various things that we come across in our life. We did not plan these lectures or episodes with any scholarly propositions. In fact, all these things have been discussed, explained, analyzed, and profound talks are available on these aspects by various great scholars and also the wise people, the philosophers throughout the world. So what is the purpose of these introductory talks? That is one point to be elaborated. And second thing, those who have seen my earlier episodes, where most of the things are repetitive. Every time we have been referring to the Moola, the basic, on which the entire building has structures have come up. So in this aspect, it would be found very repetitive. And thirdly, understanding the spiritual aspect of the knowledge and also the worldly aspect of the knowledge on one platform is really a most difficult thing. But every individual has these two major aspects in his day-to-day life and throughout his life. So one cannot be separated by the other. So these two things have to go as we have 2 feet to move forward. One cannot be ignored, and with one we cannot manage. So the entire world is just like that. If you touch any aspect of the worldly things, we come to know that that is not isolated. It is not by itself. It cannot sustain. For example, if you take our body, every organ of our body, though we can give a different name to that, it has a particular purpose and it has particular characteristics also. But still, the whole body contains these organs. In fact, all these organs put together, it is body. So when we are referring to one, you cannot isolate it and say that it is not this and it has nothing to do with the other. So the whole, as we have the body construction, so the world is also similarly interconnected, interdependent, interrelative. So these doubts would definitely come in the minds of those who have heard my earlier episodes, whereas repetitions might be there, and at some point it seems that I am digressing the topic. And the third thing, we are specializing on one aspect. But the specialization in one aspect doesn't mean that it is a separate one. It is outside the main body. For example, if we take a doctor, doctor profession is one, but there are many specialists among the doctors. One looks at eye, one looks at ear, like that. But no particular part of the body is independent of its own. So if you have a problem, the doctor has to look at that particular problem in relation to the other parameters of the body. So similarly, repetition becomes very important in the aspect of the knowledge, where one should not think that he is treading into one particular line and going away in that line. So the modern specializations are such that a particular doctor cannot treat the other aspect of the problem. But here in the knowledge, because one body of knowledge, as we have a body, one body of knowledge, being interrelated, interconnected, interdependent, if you are referring to one, you will have to explain the other aspects. You have to analyze it. When you are analyzing it, the other aspects creep in. So such kind of repetitions would appear. Secondly, in Puranas, if we look into the Puranas, many episodes appear in many Puranas. Maybe a little small difference should be there here and there. But suppose if you take Ramayana is referred to as a story in many of the Puranas. Similarly, if you look into Mahabharata, many episodes creep into Mahabharata. Because no one individual is just treated as one aspect of that particular condition or content. For example, suppose if you look at Draupadi as a personality of Mahabharata, but Mahabharata refers to her previous lives. And because there is a connectivity, not because we just take that we are born on one day and then leaving on other day. As if we are not connected. But before we come, we had some background. And after we go, we have some background, some ground is there. So when you look at a particular thing, not only that time, but all the 3 times put together, they are discussed. Then only it becomes a whole issue. So similarly in Puranas and other literature also, we find all these repetitions. Once I asked Guruji, sir, why all these repetitions? Why every time you will be referring to the earlier episodes and then bringing them back and fixing them in some content here? He says that the Puranas and the other literature have come to us only to remind us many a time that a particular incident has happened and it's the result or whatever it may be that has to be carried to the generations to come. Even in one life, we may be reading so many things in our life, but most of them we have forgotten. And unless it is an important thing, is remembered often and often. Similarly, we call Parayanas. So these Parayanas will be done. With the doing of repetitive rendering of a particular aspect or a story or information, that would be stabilized in your mind and you are not going to forget it. Because that particular subject, if it is a spiritual subject, if that particular subject is remembered strongly in your mind, then that will take you to its goal. So that has the impact. So most of these Parayanas are done in a similar way. So similarly, when we are speaking of the universe, about the origin of the universe, about the procreator of the universe, and the one who is administering the universe, and who is withdrawing them, all these 3 aspects are necessary, essential for any given thing. So when we are speaking of these things, this we should not forget. In the course of our running of the story, that there is a lot of past which has bearing on the present, and this has a bearing for the future. So that is where history lies. So history should tell us from where we have come and what is the course of the present and where we are led to. So all the knowledge that we have in Bharat, so these 3 aspects are covered. So when we are referring to times, the times are repetitive. When we are referring to events, events are repetitive. And when we are speaking of the personalities with the different names, they are repetitive. Different lives, they are repetitive. There is a continuity of living, continuity of time. We do not know from where it has come. We do not know when it is going to end. But our time is limited. In this unlimited time, our time is limited. So in this limited time, we have to keep the essence of the knowledge that is very vast. So this we have to bear in our mind. The repetition is for our good. If it raises doubts, it's also very good. Because the intellect always works on any information that it gets. It wants to discuss these things. If she is not able to understand by itself, this intellect tries to interact with others. And then even then if it is not satisfied, it comes to an understanding or it goes for eternal search for truth. So this is the essence of what we call the Bharat culture, because we have been sharing the information, we have been interacting with others, and we have been discussing these things and then trying to find out some solution. If not found, pursue on it till it gets. So this pursuit of an intellectual is again solitary. The truth known to you may be different from the truth that I know. As far as the worldly things are concerned, because they are seen with they are experienced with our five senses, there can be commonality with a degree of differences. But when we are looking into the certain things from where about the origins, then our understanding may be different, because these five senses would help us only to some extent. So they are with different gradations. And so the understandings of those which we cannot understand, which we cannot experience, even our experience cannot be explained clearly to the fellow beings. So these are certain things where getting doubts is most welcome, and looking into a chronological way of dealing things may be difficult here, because everything is connected. Even the three times are connected: the present, past and future. So similarly, repetitions are beneficial to us because we remember them. And remembering is not just for remembering's sake, but remembering should allow us to think about it. That's where the intellect interacts. And then that leads to an individual's pursuit to the unknown. So in our previous episodes, what we have had, the doubts or whatever it may be, or if we have some problems with repetitions, and at some places there would be exhaustive reference to that. At some places, they are just briefly referred to. Those who are left briefly referred to might be exhaustively covered in some other place, in some other context. So this is a different thing, and how it is different from the present day of spreading the knowledge systems may be discussed later. Thank you.